All right, I think we're live.
Hey everybody, it's Heather and Paul Christie, and we're doing our first spouse team Evolve the Global Business live Facebook. And what the question we want to ask you right now is, what is it that you are procrastinating?
So I think procrastination is an issue for many of us, and there may be different areas in your life where you're procrastinating. What I'd love for you to do is, if you're listening right now, chat in any areas that you know you're procrastinating, because we're going to help you with that. And I want you to know that procrastination is actually a symptom, it's a symptom. It's not a cause. So a lot of times the reason that we get stuck in this area of procrastination is because we don't identify it for what it is. So it's a symptom. Here's what the cause is. You ready? The cause of procrastination is indecision. So I want you to think about that for a minute. Wherever you're procrastinating right now, just think about the fact that there's a decision that you haven't really made. Even if you think you've made it, maybe you haven't gotten committed enough to that decision to actually take action. So let's bring this into the real world. Paul, where is there an area in your world that you've been procrastinating lately?
Well, of course, I never procrastinate anything in my life. I am full, guns out all the time. You know what, I think, before we get on this, Heather and I were talking about how the hurricane was just an absolute massive disruption for us, not only in our personal lives, but in our business as well. And I think one of the areas that I felt like I totally fell off the, totally fell off the wagon was on, my fitness and what I was reading, watching, and listening to. I got so caught up into the Weather Channel and the hysteria, and it literally just took me out for 2 weeks. And, and so it really, for me, it was just kind of a waste of 2 weeks for me. How about you?
Well, I can say that I was right there with you. So we were binge watching the Weather Channel. I don't know how many of you in Florida, Georgia, Carolinas were doing that same thing. But we actually got out early. We got out the Tuesday before the storm Sunday. So it was almost like we made it our job to watch the Weather Channel. Thank God we had some client coaching calls that we had to get on, and it was a distraction. But so what's really interesting is we decided to make a checklist after this last hurricane. What did we think we did right, and what would we do differently next time? And, we checked off all the things like, oh, well, we felt like we prepared early enough. We made the right hotel reservations. Maybe we'd make some changes there and just stay in one place instead of 5. But we came up with all the, kind of the tasks that we did during that hurricane. But it wasn't until just recently that Paul said, I've got 2 more things that I would add to our list of what we would do differently. Number one, everywhere we went, we had the ability to exercise. We had gyms in all of our hotels, and we did not make that a priority. And in our normal life, it's a priority. So we totally fell off track there. So that was one thing. But the other thing really was, what are we focused on? So I think that those, when you think about your mindset and your physicality, how important that is, especially when you're going through a stressful time. For us, that was something that I think we both lost. But when you think about it, we were procrastinating. We didn't take on some of the things we could have gotten done we had 2 full weeks that we could have done really anything in addition to our day-to-day work.
Yeah, now I'm like, God, I wish I could have those 2-3 weeks back, because, one of the coaches that we work with, what's actually a client of ours, started a Think and Grow Rich. If any of you have ever heard of that before, it's the greatest book of all time. Think and Grow Rich is personal growth, but it's also the steps to getting whatever you want in this world. And so he started the program. I got into it just yesterday, and as always, when I get back into that book, I realize, what have I been doing? Why have I not been studying that book? And like I said to Heather, because we did go work out today, and it was my first time since the hurricane, and I didn't really want to go either. I was like, oh, I just don't really want to go. But I know if I just get there, and that's where it is. It's in procrastination. So when you're procrastinating, when I'm procrastinating, the only thing I need to do is to make a decision. And so this morning I made the decision, unlike yesterday, I made the decision not to work out. But today I made the decision that I was going to work out. And of course, I go there, I work out, and I feel great. And I love that I made that decision. But looking back in retrospect on the time that we had 2-3 weeks, instead of watching everything about the hurricane, which was going to happen anyways, we had no control of that. Right. We could have been doing something, we could have been reading Think and Grow Rich, we could have been doing anything other than that.
Yeah, so be thinking when you make your list of what you would do differently, did you fall into the same trap we did? But the other thing I would say, if I think about some of the areas that I've really been procrastinating in business, we're working with a firm out of New York City, and they've been saying, you've got to do videos, you've got to do videos, you've got to do videos, and I don't really like doing videos, so I've been procrastinating that. I've got this issue with wanting to do it right and not really enjoying watching myself on video. So it's tough for me to get on camera.
Look at this face.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. But it's really hard for me to get on camera. I don't know how many of you can relate to that. If you own your own business and you're not getting on video and you don't have your own YouTube channel, the opportunity is huge for you, because remember, most people won't do it. And of course, so why am I procrastinating? I know better. It's a failure to make a decision. It's a failure to just decide to do it. So Paul and I decided we've got a really busy week. The rest of this week, we're out with clients. So I said, okay, this morning, this is the day we're going to get on. We're going to do our first Facebook Live, and it's the decision that got us into action. So yeah, I mean, like we prepared. We said we're going to talk about procrastination, but we didn't try so hard to get this right. We're just coming at you. So
yeah, and trust me, the topic of procrastination, we weren't all smiles 5 minutes before this. We were really discussing what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. We were changing topics. We were in a little bit of a discussion there.
I had one idea, and Paul had another idea.
And I was hijacking that idea.
And Paul totally hijacked. So we did it Paul's way, which is not usually how we did, but we had to get it done. So I'm like, we'll do it your way, right? So anyway, let's recap. We're going to just kind of make the point, and then we're going to take off here because we got a lot of work to do, and I know you do too. So first things first, admit to yourself where you're procrastinating. That's the first opportunity, right? So where you're procrastinating right now, chat it in if you want to. I mean, we'll get on later on and we'll chat back and forth if you want to. Where are you procrastinating? Now I want you to look backwards and ask yourself, what decision have I made or not made? If you've made the decision, you really haven't gotten committed and you haven't gotten behind it. What do you need to do to truly commit and decide? So decide comes from the Latin root word decidere. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it means literally to cut off. So when you decide, you are cutting off all alternatives. You're cutting off an uncertain future and you're going into the certain future for which you've decided. So again, where you're procrastinating, you want to look beneath that and say, what decision do I need to make? Make the decision, and magically that procrastination goes away, no matter what it is. Even if it's a tough one, it's something that you procrastinate on regularly.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, it's every day we have little things from just going to work out to massive decisions that we need to make in our business or in our personal life. And what can happen in procrastination is that you're just not making the decision. And whether you take the path of taking it on or you're going to just move on and do something else, it doesn't matter. But as long as you make that decision. So think about that as anything that's going on in your life right now, like Heather had mentioned, and make that decision.
Okay. Oh, hey, Dwayne. Dwayne just said hello. Nice to see you. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to our first Facebook Live. We appreciate all the love. We are going to be doing it weekly, so hold us to that. Keep us accountable, and please engage in the conversation, because when you engage and you give us something to, when you share something with us, we'll talk to you directly. We'll help coach you through it if you're up for that. So that's what we do for a living. I know many of you, you've asked us, like, what is it exactly you do? Are you a life coach? And the reality is we're executive and leadership coaches. So we work with you on helping you to become a better you. And if there's any area in your world right now, professionally, that you want to get to that next level, if you're having any leadership challenges, management challenges, a lot of times my biggest leadership challenges are leading me, right? So, send us some notes, let us know what you want to talk about. and we will tune in again sometime
Yeah,
next week.
And just to add one more thing to that, I think and you had mentioned that today or yesterday, was that you were working with a client, and as you were helping this particular client with a coaching challenge that they were having, you realized that you were coaching yourself through the exact same thing. And so there's so much to be gained, and we would love to hear from you. We would love to hear from about any of the challenges that you're having, both personally or professionally, and we could hit those up as topics. We have a long list of things that we can talk about throughout the weeks, but we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we'll start with our own challenges, and there are plenty, so we could just keep going with ours, but feel free to throw yours in there.
Yeah, it's more fun when it's yours.
Hey, Al. Gosh, it's so great to see how many of you have joined us. Thanks for showing us all the love, and we look forward to talking with you again next week.
Yeah, you all have a great day.
Have a great day. Enjoy your Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye now.